Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to do a very basic alcohol ink application to make a beautiful watermelon tumbler. So you can see here I've got my two alcohol ink colors. I've got limeade and raspberry, and I put the raspberry down inside of one of my medicine cups, and I've dipped my paintbrush into the alcohol ink, and I'm letting my tumbler turn while I hold the paintbrush steady, and it's just going to rotate around the tumbler. I just keep adding layer after layer to make it brighter and darker and to get the texture on it of the lines that I want. And then I'm going to go down to the bottom here, and I've dipped my paintbrush in clear, regular rubbing alcohol and then in pink. So you can see it slowly, gradually getting lighter. And I'm just creating what would be the white rind on the watermelon by leaving that space a little bit lighter, and the blend is going to go in real nice and smooth. So now we're going to take the limeade and do the exact same thing, but we're going to work from the bottom up, and we're just going to do the whole base and then bring it around and do the bottom of the tumbler. And I'm going to bring it all the way up until I get about an inch away from the pink, and I'm going to leave that bare and white. And then once you get to that space where you have that green into the white, I'm just going to take some rubbing alcohol that has no ink in it, just clear rubbing alcohol, and I'm going to put that along into the middle section, and just to really blend the edges of the green to the pink and make a really pretty blend into the rind of the watermelon. I clean my brushes in between each color by just using standard 91% rubbing alcohol and just using it just like you would water, and it cleans the alcohol off to the brush really, really well, so you can reuse it in any other color. Something important to note is once you get your rubbing alcohol and your alcohol inks onto the tumbler, you want to let it completely dry and then do a clear coat of spray paint over the top. That's going to ensure that your alcohol ink doesn't smear and smudge and get damaged or rubbed out of place when you put your epoxy over the top. Because this tumbler has no glitter on it, it's really easy to completely coat the tumbler with just 2 coats of epoxy. You always want to make sure you add at least 2 coats of epoxy to any tumbler to make sure that adds durability. If you only do 1 coat of epoxy, even though the decals and the tumbler is coated, it's not going to be thick enough to where that if you just put it into any use, it's going to crack and damage and peel that epoxy away. So 2 coats is definitely the minimum that you want to apply to a tumbler. And because this is a beginner's tutorial, I just kept it real simple and cut out some basic cricket watermelon seeds and dispersed them unevenly around the tumbler, mixed my epoxy. This is mixed in equal parts, and then we're going to go ahead and stir it really slowly, making sure to try to avoid any bubbles, and then we're going to apply a full coat of epoxy over the tumbler. So I'm just using the LittleLee and Rose tumbler turner, and I'm going to make sure I wear my PPE gear. That is nitrile gloves and a chemical respirator. You want to make sure even though you're wearing your respirator, work in a well-ventilated area just for your safety, and we're just going to gently apply this all over the tumbler. After the second coat, you want to let it completely cure for a full 72 hours before using the tumbler or giving it to the recipient. I'm using the LittleLee and Rose epoxy, and I absolutely love working with our own brand of epoxy. It's super easy, it's very beginner friendly, and it leaves an absolutely perfect glossy coat. All right, guys, I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed this super easy basic tutorial. I had fun doing it, and we ended up auctioning this tumbler off. So thank you, Christy Buddington, for buying this tumbler to support our good causes.